With the news out of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater coming out on August 28th from Sony's recent release on their pages, I have footage of that and coverage and breaking down the details. But today, we want to cover Metal Gear Online. We want to talk about the new features that are coming out in this game that are already confirmed and then the things to expect. So we're going to dive deep down the rabbit hole. Before I get started, I will be doing giveaways again for 2025. So make sure you stay locked in. I'm going to give away copies of this game, either that or the money for the games, which is $75 or so. Okay, now let's talk about what is going on. So in this trailer at the very end, they showcase a mode that was in the previous iteration of this remake. In the original, you were allowed to play Snake versus Monkeys. The Apes Escape game was something that they collaborated with, and they let you run around the jungle trying to capture these monkeys. I enjoyed the mode. It was just something fun and extra to have. Every single Metal Gear game will have something, cool and new and interesting. And that was pretty awesome. And what's the best part about it is that it's just very, very clear that they're not going to just give you the standard stuff. They're going to add extra. And when I say that, the screen on the trailer says "and more." And today we're going to talk about the "and more" and get into the discussion of what that means. As you can see, we're talking about MGO. The reason I want to bring this up is because this has been a topic that they brought up about 5 to 6 different times. I've covered it extensively in interviews that they've had, whether it's the producer or one of the execs. The gentleman who has ran MGO2 has been a part of the company for a very long time, has also said he's working on something more news later, or we'll talk about it more later on. And they basically kept hinting at online features and modes. They did not detail exactly. Then on top of that, they had this very cool feedback from the community, and then they had a game plan of what they're going to be talking about in the future, things that they can discuss, and so on. And of course, things like Master Collection Volume 2, which would be amazing, and a whole bunch of other things. But one of the key things in that article was MGO. They said plans for MGO. And this is something that I've covered, and what I speculated was that they're just making the remake and they're going to remake the online that we already had. And while that could be true, and again, we're going to take some of my conversation in a second with a grain of salt because I'm not sure what they're going to do, I'm starting to speculate something even grander and something so amazing that will probably make you guys very excited if you're like me and love Metal Gear Online. I'm going to take a second to introduce to people what Metal Gear Online is. It's basically a new mode. And as you can see right here in this video that you're watching, this is from the article that they've had. And they basically had all these top execs, producers, and so on, developers, talking about what they're going to be talking about in the near future. And plans for MGO is one of them. And this is their chart officially from their broadcast. It's called Metal Gear Hotline. You can watch it directly if you want to go see that. But basically, I cover it. And we're going to be getting another one of these in February. I'm guaranteeing it, because they will be releasing the trailer that you just saw in the beginning of this video very soon. And then they're going to start doing one of these shows where they recap things and they answer community questions. And it's just a great show. But plans for MGO is the key thing you want to point out, because that means that they really are focusing in on this. What exactly is it going to be? And the speculation I had originally was that it was just going to be a remake of part 1, which is the easy way to go. And that's still very possible, guys. But what I would like to put in front of you is the chance that they decided, you know what, these mechanics that we're adding, this new system is really good, and I want to add a more functional MGO than just remaking the old maps and keeping it pretty basic. And so my speculation is that they understand that MGO can be a big deal if presented properly and showcased in the right way. And so for me, you know, we are speculating that it is going to be MGO4. And what does MGO4 mean? Basically, if you didn't know, there was 1, 2, 3 different iterations that were for the main storyline games. They had other iterations of the online, but it wasn't as thorough as the main 3, and those were the big ones. And so now I do believe that it's possible that they make a part 4. And what does this mean? Well, as you can see, part 1 right here, this is the original, pretty standard. They can remake that and just have a fun little extra feature to play some PvP with and have a good time. But they can also say, you know what, we want to expand this the way we did for MGO2. And if you guys don't know, MGO2 was the biggest expansion. They put a lot of money and time into there. They had in-game tournaments. They had in-game events and rewards. They had a big store for you to buy different gear within the game. You were able to create your own modes as far as different settings within it. You want to do headshots only, or snipers only, or snipers and shotguns, or knives only, and you can do different modes, different settings. Everything was customizable. You can create your own lobbies and have the community come be a part of that. And to me, that is phenomenal and probably one of my favorite all-time features of part 2. The just those features alone were great. Talking about what was the best gameplay wise, of course part 1 is super old, but it still had some good functions, and part 2 basically fed off of that and took it to another level as well. But I absolutely, like, without a shadow of a doubt, would love part 2's features to be in there, with which you're seeing right here, where you can see you can go into a lobby and you're going to be doing the things that I talked about, creating your own. Of course, they're going to have the public lobbies, they're going to have the tournaments, they have clans, they have a lot of cool stuff in here, and its own rank system, which was very awesome. You can see here I can make it a public, I can make it private, I can you know, put in whatever I feel and then change different modes, different maps. All the settings are there. And so for me, making a part 4 instead of just trying to remake what was already done would be the best option for them, in my personal opinion. And the reason for this is because what they should do is release Delta and then announce MGO right after as a free to play download for anybody. You don't have to own Delta. You can literally just download MGO4. And it's going to have these MGO2 features that you just saw, and you're going to be capable of experiencing what the originals had, but better than ever. Because let's be honest, part 3, which is what you're seeing right here, had the best graphics, and some of the movement was pretty cool as far as the speed and different things like that. But MGO2 overall had more tactical gameplay, some gameplay mechanics that were in there, and then also more features, which is the stuff that we talked about. And if they combine those two type of things while giving you a new experience, new maps, and maybe they can actually just take every map from all of the previous games. And this is something that a lot of games like Call of Duty has done, where they will take all the best maps from each of the other iterations and bring them back. And this is something that I think can be done for part 4 if that's their goal. And it would basically allow all of us to absolutely have the best time of our lives in this game. And that's something that I would push for. And I'm curious how the community feels about having that type of feature back into the game. And that is something that I'm excited for. Now, just to kind of make sure you guys know, this is all my hopes and speculations on what exactly the online feature is going to be. But I do want to say that it is something that they've addressed multiple times in different whether it's interviews or in general, like the hotline show where they discuss it just a little bit and we're going to talk about later in the future once we're ready. And so that is possible. What I do know for sure is that February, this announcement for the release date and all that should be happening. And on top of that, I do think that the hotline show will come back and they will finally start revealing the extra features in the game, because they're going to announce pre-orders and it's going to be time to market the game and showcase as much as they're allowed to, of course, but whatever's ready. And I do believe that if MGO is a focus, why not reveal it? Unfortunately, it might end up being something where you can only play it if you buy the game, because they don't want to just give you something for free and they don't got a benefit off of it. But in my opinion, I think it's always good to offer something like that for free to incentivize people to say, hey, this is a cool online mode. Let's check out the actual multiplayer. And so that's what my thoughts are. And again, it's speculation, but we got a lot of things that they put out about plans for MGO. And so I'm excited, and I want you to share what your opinion when it comes to my predictions as far as MGO4 coming, or is it just going to be a remake of part 1? And, share what you're thinking overall. Are you excited about the online mode? Let me know in the comments. By the way, I got some footage breaking down the new trailer and some more speculations about different modes that are possible popping up on the screen. See you there.